I got to introduce you. I haven't even introduced you yet. Grant Brooks, Fozzy, Guardians of the Jukebox, 2 bands, man, together. That's amazing.
Very thankful to be a part of it, man. Thankful to be here,
Wow.
man. Thank you for having me.
Dude, thank you for being here, man. I've been a huge like fan of Fozzy, and I've had the guys on the show, and having you just feels complete. Like I met you at the corn show, and I was like, I gotta have him on the show. Like immediately thought like, yes.
Thank you
So
so much. I recognized you immediately too from all the past interviews I've watched with uh, Fozzy and Guardians in the
uh,
past, with Rich
oh,
especially.
that means a lot, man. Rich is a good guy.
You always do
And
fantastic interviews, man.
oh, thank you so much, man. And you got a newborn kid right now, right? I mean, newborn. I don't know how old
She
you got a
she's
little
she's
one.
she's 2 years old and she's into everything. Keeps me busy for sure when I'm home. I'll be like, is it time to play a show yet? I need a break.
Yes, dude. I remember 2 years old was that because I have a 13 and 12-year old, and 2 years old was that's a hard age, man.
Oh yeah, she's into everything, but hey, keeps me busy.
Do you ever buy like little drums and like little acoustic things, and you're like, hey, here's a beat, like
Yeah, oh yeah, all the time, all the time. I've got her little toy drum sets everywhere, and sometimes when I'm practicing the kit, she'll come down here and want to hit on it a little bit. I'm like, well, give it a couple more years, you might be able to reach the foot pedals.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, the problem with me is like my kids see the drums so much, and I've said this before in a lot of interviews, but they don't look at it as like, oh, cool, a drum set. They just look at it like, whatever,
It's
But when
normal,
but
yeah.
yeah, but when their friends come over, they're like, oh,
Yep.
cool. Yeah.
It's like
So
seeing a football or something. It's just normal to
yeah,
them.
yeah. That's cool. You have a daughter though, man. I got
Hmm.
one too. That's this yeah, that's awesome. So, man, first of all, I have so many questions for you. You
Of
were in
course.
a you were in a band called Through Fire, right? Was that your
Correct.
first? Is that your
That was
first band?
no. I've been in several bands. Work just making connections,
Just
trying to
grinding.
work my way up. As best as I could in different states, whatever it took. To get where I'm at.
I love that. Was your dad pretty supportive, like growing up when you were
So
with all these
much.
bands? That's
Still supportive now. Like he's spent a lot of money on me, helping me make it for sure. In the early days, bands, you don't see no money, and I was broke, and there's been lots of times he's saved me. Neat, like if I needed new gear or any of those things, he always helps me from when I got into music till now. He still pushes me and tells me to never stop, and always super supportive of it.
oh yeah, man. That's amazing that you're still that he's helped you all these years and that you still have that connection with them.
Oh yeah, they still come and travel to a lot of the shows for sure. You'll meet him soon enough if you come to an Atlanta show enough. You'll run into him at some point.
Oh yeah. Does your dad have as many tattoos as you have?
No, he does not. He's got the old fashioned '90s arm barbed
Oh
wire
yeah, the
everybody used
barbed
to
wire.
get.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, he went all
Yeah,
the way
dude.
around though. He's sure to tell everybody he went all the way around to show that
Oh
he's
yeah,
close.
yeah, yeah. Because that shows it like the pain level, went all the way around.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember Pamela Anderson from Baywatch had the tribal, and
Yep.
Tommy Lee's wife had all the way around.
Yep.
Um,
That's the only one he's got.
so talk about Through Wire was your first
Through fire.
Through
Yeah.
Fire. I'm sorry, yes. I
Hmm.
said wire because I'm thinking of the tattoo.
That was the first band I ever got in that was a signed band and was a you know mainly touring artist to get out there. I played with them for nearly 5 years from the end of 2016 to about the end of 2021.
Oh, okay. So you guys were through it with the pandemic and everything.
Yep. And then I got right around 2021, towards the end of that's when, I got the call from Rich and Chris and everybody for that opportunity. So,
Wow. Yeah. So you kind of made friends with were you on tour with those guys with
so,
Fozzy or anybody?
so yeah, that's how it kind of started, getting to know Fozzy and everybody and become friends with them is, we landed, I remember it was Springfield, Missouri, I think it was, early 2018, and Fozzy had a fly date, and Frank was drumming at the time, and he
Yep.
asked to use my kit. So of course I said yeah, because I was thinking, yeah, let's be cool with them. You never know, might land a tour with them as before I knew them or anything, and all that happened. Got to knowing, met at Rich, Chris, everyone at that show, and then it was like a couple months later we landed a 3 month tour with the guys, and you tour with bands for months at a time. You eventually become friends with those guys because you see them every day, and that's kind of how
Yeah.
it started. And then it was right at around COVID. I remember. Do you remember when COVID was letting off just a little bit, and bands started playing shows, but it was still like you had to get tested
Yeah.
before
Bunch of
all that
rules.
all that
Yeah.
madness. Around
Yeah.
that time was when we had another tour with Fozzy. We'd landed a few of them, and I remember I went up to Chris kind of just off to the side, and I said, "Hey man, just want you to know." I said it right to his face. I said, "Just want you to know if you ever not y'all's drummer's fantastic, but if you ever get in a bind or you ever need a fill in or somebody to be there, I'm your guy. Like,
Mm.
let me know." And he remembers that, and he still talks about it.
What did he say when you told him that? Like, what
He
was his
just looked at me
response?
like, wow. He was kind of shocked that I just come out and said it. But I just wanted you to know because you never know until you ask someone. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like you never know what could come of it. I wanted him to know that I was interested if that opportunity ever presented itself.
So what was it like? How long was it before he did he end up calling you or like or when you
Well,
offered that?
it was the I remember I was driving back home from Thanksgiving family dinner, and Rich hit me up and he said, "Hey man, when you got time to talk, would love to have a conversation with you." And I thought, "Oh, of course, I've got plenty of time to talk." So
Yeah, right?
I messaged him, and he hit me up and he was like, "Hey man, he asked me if I would be interested in uh, potentially playing with Guardians, and then the possibility of Fozzy." And I was like, with either band, I was like, yes, I would love that opportunity. And it was like 2 weeks later, I think it was. I was driving to Atlanta to jam with Rich for the first time. I remember I had like three uh, Guardians songs we do to learn, and I had three Fozzy songs to learn, and I practiced on them every single
What
day.
okay, what songs are these? We gotta talk about, like, what Fozzy songs are these?
So the Fozzy songs that I had to learn right then was "Sin and Bones," "Sane," and "Nowhere to Run."
Okay. So are you are you having these on repeat? Like every I'm trying to think how you practice this. Do you do one song at a time or just all 3 kinda in a row?
No, I didn't want to just you know half it, like just partly learn a song and then jump to the next one. I
Right.
would focus in on one song and get that learned to the best of my ability. And then I'd go to the next one. But then when I got them all learned, I started to just constantly play them over and over. So that
That's
way
amazing. Yeah.
it'd be like riding a bicycle, where
Right.
you don't have to think about it.
Yeah, dude, I totally get this. I love this. So because so you just have them on a loop, just playing them over and over. Are you
Mhm.
practicing hours on this set of 3 songs?
Especially with that because I thought, this is, if anything, this is my biggest opportunity I've ever had. So like
Right. Yeah. I
I
love that.
I, I put in so much practice, and did everything I could, and here I am. And then after I got that gig, then I
Well,
had
I'm not trying to I'm sorry to interrupt you. When you did those songs though, could you tell a vibe in the room? Because you practiced so long and you're with Rich Ward and Jericho and Billy Gray, PJ. What was the vibe like when you're playing? Because now all that hard work paid off. So you're feeling it, right? When you're playing these 3
just the sense of relief, because you ever just want something so bad, you just visualize it, and I was losing sleep over it because I wanted that. I wanted that to happen.
You could see it in their eyes though. They're like like Rich. You can
Yeah.
see kind of a smile, kind of thing. Like
Mm-hmm.
you knew like
Yep.
something like this is good.
But it wasn't just right then. I found out. I had to wait, and then we
Really?
got and then we got together and jammed again. Because you got to think, I mean, Rich had been playing music with the same drummer for 20
Yeah.
plus years, so it's not like a band, just had a drummer for a couple years, so because there was a chemistry there,
Yeah.
it's like,
Frank.
yeah, it's like Dimebag and Vinny, you play with somebody so long, that's all you know. So I knew I had to be like 100% on my A game to to
Yeah.
get to get the gigs for sure.
That's a great point. So you had to
Yep.
wait around for that phone call.
Yep. And then I got a nice call from Chris Jericho asking if I wanted to be in the band. And
Oh, geez, dude. That's
yep,
amazing. Like, how's he ask you? He's like, "Hey, Brooks, what do like, what's he say?"
he called me up. I remember I was hanging out with friends, and I said, I got a phone call. I got to run outside real quick. And he asked me if I would be interested in playing with Fozzy, and wanted to know how devoted I was. And you know I told him, I said, I've chased this my whole life, man. I'm your guy, and here we are. And after that, I got to tour in Australia, 7 different continents, several U.S. tours, and very blessed, man. Very thankful to be where I'm at.
Dude, you are so humble, man. Because I remember talking to the corn show. I'm like, you played at like Wembley, man. Like you played these massive shows.
It was surreal, man. Very surreal. The first time we played at Wembley, when I got off stage, I'm not an emotional person, but I
Yeah.
definitely was. I was crying from it because
Oh God, how could you not?
it
Yeah.
was such a surreal moment.
Yeah, I mean, I always remember when the Foo Fighters played the Wembley, and Dave Grohl's like, "How did we get this big?" Like, and then
I've
there you
watched
were.
that.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's fantastic.
and you were
Uh,
there. You did the same like gig, man.
I know.
Like,
And then I was like, "We're going to play it again." I was like, "I thought
yeah,
this was a once in a lifetime thing, and here we are again." I was like, "Wow,
yeah.
I could get used to this."
I think I asked you at the corn show. I was like, "Do you get nervous playing at like the biggest stadium?"
Oh,
Like,
of course, I get more nervous on stuff like that. Never about my playing because I know I've prepared for that. It's more of all the technical things that could go wrong that's out of my control. Like, say, what if something loses power or something breaks on stage? And it's one thing you're playing in front of a crowd, but when it's live on TV, it's like if something goes wrong, it's going straight to the internet, and you got to forever live with it. So
yes.
that's the main thing that goes in my head when stuff like that takes place.
So okay, so Fozzy was the first band with the guys that you joined with Rich. And how soon after was Guardians of the Jukebox? Like, was that
No,
soon
I got
after?
offered those at the same time.
Wow.
Yeah,
Oh,
Rich
wow.
had called me about that as well, and that's where it gets. That's what I was gonna say. It gets chaotic because after that, instead of just learning 6 songs to audition, I had to learn 30 cover songs for Guardians and about 18 songs for Fozzy within just a couple of weeks, all at once. So it
Oh
was
my
just like,
gosh.
you better get ready to play some drums because it's going to be a lot of practicing for sure. But I loved it, man. Especially in the Guardians, that pushed me to be a better musician more than anything ever has because I was born in '94, and if
Wow.
it was ever anything '80s, it was always metal or rock around my dad. So I never got introduced much to the pop side of music during that time, unless it was something that was playing in the grocery store or randomly heard on the radio. But I never focused in on it, so I was having a whole new
Yeah.
style of drumming to learn in all these songs, and it definitely tested me and made me a better player for sure.
Do you like 80s music now? Like,
I
like,
absolutely love it, and
yeah.
it gave me a new appreciation for that because I used to think, man, it's so hard playing Slipknot and Slayer and Corn songs on the drums. Go try to play you some Lionel Richie on the drums, or play you some Toto on the drums if you want a real
Oh,
challenge.
yeah, that's the
You know what I mean?
musician,
Like it's
yeah.
just a completely different spectrum of drumming that's like I never had appreciation for until I actually sit down learning these intricate parts behind the kit.
So would you get more worn out from playing a Fozzy gig or a Guardians gig? I mean, Guardians probably a longer gig though, right? Because it's,
I would have to say a Guardians gig for sure because when Guardians plays, we play 2.5 hours, usually close to 30 songs, nonstop.
no
So
breaks, just
no
nonstop.
breaks, just straight party, having a good time, music.
Wow, man. Yeah,
Yeah.
just the fact that you had to learn Fozzy and Guardians at the same time, all
Mm-hmm.
those songs. Like, I just want to pick your brain. Like, how do you do that? Like, how do you organize all these songs? And does it just gonna get meshed up and like, I don't know, man. That's crazy.
Just lots of memorization. I remember during that time period, I would not listen to any other music because I didn't
Mm.
want to hear any other drum beats or anything that could potentially throw me off. It was literally just anywhere I was at, I was listening to it, and if I wasn't listening to it, I was practicing it. So
Yeah, yeah. That's great. You're so professional on that.
thank you, man. I definitely work hard, but there's always room for improvement on everything for sure. So I'm still practicing every day. We got Fozzie's got Louder Than Life coming up Friday that I'm really excited about, and then we got that Fozzy 25th anniversary tour that's been a hit, and we're bringing back a lot of songs that haven't been
Oh
played by
yes.
Fozzy in a long time. So I'm back learning new songs again to my brain.
Yeah.
You know.
Y Yeah, Fozzy has such a unique career, like, they were kinda like a cover band, right, at the beginning,
Yes.
and
Hmm.
then they did their first album, which I love, so that'd be cool, like, "Enemy" and all those songs back in the first, I can't remember the name of the album, but it was so good.
Enemy
Uh
was on the All That Remains album.
Yes, All That
Yeah.
Remains, such a great song too, man, yes.
Hmm.
Yeah, I always
Yep.
tell Rich, man, I love that album. But it's
I was
crazy
like,
that they've been around so long.
I know. I always love to tell Rich when we bring back a song from a older Fozzy album that I'm having to learn. I said, "Oh, when this song come out, I was in middle school still, or I was in
Yeah.
kindergarten."
Yeah. That's hilarious. Yeah, and I'm older than you, and I can still tell Rich the same thing, like, when I'm like, "When Stuck Mojo came out, I was in middle school or elementary school." So you see in the different generations.
Hmm.
That's
For
hilarious.
sure.
Oh, okay. So growing up, do you have, like, drummers that, like, you're like, "I love this drummer." Like, do you have drum influence, like my favorite drummer kinda thing? Who's your
Oh,
favorite drummer?
100%. And I find it funny. So many people love to hate on him now, especially in today's time with all the drummers that are out there. But Lars from
Oh,
Metallica is
yeah,
my.
I love Lars. Thank you for
Yep.
saying that, man. I defend him
I don't care.
always.
I will defend him till the day I die. He may not be the best
Yes.
drummer out there, but he writes some of the best drum parts on
Dude,
albums
I
out of
love you said
anybody.
that.
It's
Yes.
so different than anybody, and that's the reason I started picking up six 100%. Hearing his double bass and one and all that crazy drumming and
Oh,
Injustice
yeah.
for All, that instant I was like, "Yep, I wanna play drums for sure."
That was the album that got me into Metallica was Injustice for All. I'm so glad you
Me
said that.
too. Me
It's
too. 100%.
Yeah,
One
really?
was the first.
Wow.
Yeah, listening to that at 13, my dad was randomly playing it, and it stuck with me. Just
Could
how
you do
how
your
the song.
feet? Could you go like
Oh
darkness?
yeah.
Could you do your double? Yeah, that's so
Hmm.
cool.
Yep.
Did you grow up with a double bass pedal or single?
So it was funny when I started out. Um, I was I had a kit. My dad said, "I'm gonna buy you a cheap kit just to make sure you stick with it because you didn't stick with the guitar. I want to make sure this is what you want to do." He bought me like it was like a Sam's Club Fender drum kit, just a low end, and it had
Yeah.
one pedal. It had one pedal on it, and I wanted to play double bass so bad. So what I used to do is I would tighten the hi hat tight before I had a double bass pedal, and my feet at the time were small enough to put them both on that one pedal, and I could double bass on that one pedal before I
Oh,
got a double bass pedal. So that's
yeah.
how I used to do it before I had any of the double bass stuff.
That's funny. That's great.
And then about a year later, he bought me a real deal Tama kit that I still have, and I had the double bass and everything that I wanted with it. So,
Was it hard learning double bass, or did you
um,
gravitate?
that it's funny. That was never really that hard for me. What was more so hard for me was learning how to, because I was self-taught and from having to retrain my brain, from playing the game and everything with a hi hat that would make the sound for if it was open or closed. It
Mm.
was more work for me learning how to work a hi hat correctly, with your accents and double strokes and all that. But the double bass, it just always came natural to me.
Wow, that's a great point. Yeah, I didn't think about it. I don't play double bass, but that's a great point because you, you
Mhm.
you don't have control of your hi hat, so you're trying to, you
Yeah,
know, it's
and that was
amazing
the
drum. Yeah, yeah. All
that
right,
that
keep
was
going.
that was for sure the thing that I when I was 14 and 15 I started really having to relearn. I like, oh, okay. So I put my foot over here on the hi hat. I had the double bass patterns and stuff down, but I had to figure out how to, properly do accents and open up the hi hat and close it when it needed to be
Yeah.
open when I was
Oh,
starting out.
okay. So I have a question for you. So when I was at church, I play a lot at church, and then I grew up playing a lot of bands. But I remember I was playing at one church and they had an electronic kit, which you play right with Guardians and
Right.
maybe Fozzy as well.
Yeah,
Um,
both bands.
Both bands. So the hi hat I played at church with was just closed. It was just a big hi hat, big.
Hmm.
How hard was that for you to transition over to the electronic kit? Was that easy
Well,
or hard?
my biggest issue was when I was doing the transition was finding a hi hat that was good enough to definitely get as close to a real feeling and natural sounding hi hat as possible. So I have Roland to thank for that. They've come so far in just the last 10 years alone with their products and the technology they're coming out with. They now actually have a hi hat that's just like a real hi hat, and it has open and close, and it fits on a hi hat stand, and you literally can do everything on that hi hat exactly what you can an acoustic hi hat. So that was the
That's very cool.
yep. But I remember though back in the day, all you would have was just the little cymbal, and then you might have the hi hat pedal down here, and it never wanted to trigger right. You might open it, and it's still when you're doing fast open and close, it's like it gets confused, and it's like I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, man. I remember playing one time, and in the one the electronic that we have was very cheap, and I remember
Hmm.
turning it on, and you couldn't touch anything. You had to wait 10 seconds or whatever, and I didn't know, and I hit something, and the kick drum was the hi hat, and it was all mixed up, and I'm in front of people, so I had to like play it cool, unplug, plug it back in,
Hey, it
but
happens, man. That's
and
for the best stories when stuff happens on stage, though. You know that.
oh yeah. Do you have any stories like that? Like anything going wrong?
um, well, actually, I have a recent story. So when Guardians went and played, and we had a show in Nottingham, England, and it was our first time with the Guardians being over there. So, and it was a packed show. It was like a festival type thing. There was bands all day, and we were the ones closing it out. They said, we want a band that can party, and I was like, well, we're the perfect band for that. We'll have everybody dancing. So we was about 3 songs in, and all of Rich's side lost complete power. Everything lost power. My metronome I had going lost power.
Oh
The
no.
only thing, mics lost power and signal. The only thing that stayed live, because I was on my battery backup, I'm assuming, was
Right.
my drum set. And I thought, I'm in the middle of playing. We was playing a song called "Holding Out for a Hero,"
Oh,
and
okay. Yeah, yeah.
uh, Rich, he come up with me, along with me, some fantastic, more rock style parts for that song. So I thought, well, I can either stop playing and hear the crickets chirping and everybody like, what's going on, or keep playing. And I just said, well, I'm just gonna keep playing it. And I looked out and I played the whole song, just drums, and the crowd was singing every word along with us. Now that was a cool moment. Like it was a mistake that went wrong, but it turned out really cool. The whole crowd was singing along, and then got it back up and kept on rolling.
You killed
So,
it, man. You killed it. That's what happened. Yeah. You're good under pressure. I feel like
yeah.
Rich was testing you. He's like, "Yes, see, if stuff goes south, Brooks
Stuff
can
happens,
handle it."
man. You just gotta go with the flow. I was like, well, it's either sit here and listen to silence, or they can hear drums, and they picked up the beat and they were singing along to the words. So it is what it is. But stuff like that's gonna happen.
Yeah. What
For
what's
sure.
your this is a dumb question, but what's your pregame like when you're playing these big Guardian shows or whatever? I always worry about like, do you have to like do you not drink too much water? Like, what do you ever have to pee in the middle of a show? Do you like what's your pregame like? Do you have a
Oh man, that's funny. I remember when I was first starting out playing the shows, I made the mistake of some of the outdoor festivals drinking too much water, and then we got a
right?
2.5 hour set. About an hour in, I start feeling like I have to pee really
Yeah.
bad, and then it's like, okay, all right, let's rush this up. But then I started learning, to slow down on that,
Yeah,
and I
okay,
and I
yeah.
save drinking the water plenty for while I'm playing. And then
Oh, that's good.
yeah, the only thing I do prior to a show though is I do lots of stretches, and I'll do about 10 minutes of like warm ups on a practice pad, or sometimes my leg, or just whatever's around, and then uh do fast double bass patterns with my feet to get the blood flowing down there, and that's about it. I never drink or anything before we play. Never have.
Yeah, that's smart, man. I love like Vince Neil from Motley Crue. He's got I think his name's Zoltan or one of his drummers does all these crazy
Oh yeah,
stuff.
yeah, does all the crazy tricks and
Yeah.
stuff. Yeah, yeah. I
Do you
think
ever
his
do
last
anything
name's
like
Cheney. I think.
yes. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that sounds right. We'll just go with that. But do you ever like practice like different drum like do you do any tricks like that like where you throw the stick up and kind of catch it
Yeah,
or is that
I do a lot of tricks. I just never try to do too much, because I always feel like I save a lot of my tricks for certain songs. But like
yeah,
when we're
smart.
when it's a song that's more, say, focused on the vocals, or it's a slower song, I've always felt like it's unnecessary. This is just me personally. It's cool, but I've always felt like it's unnecessary if somebody's just going crazy doing all these tricks and stuff, and it's taking away the attention of the
Yeah, no.
heartfelt.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's definitely songs. I do a lot of the backwards tosses, and a lot of stick twirls and stuff. Just for fun, and the crowd enjoys it. But most of the stuff I've learned, I've just picked up from watching other drummers over the years. The main one was this drummer named Luke Holland. A lot of his YouTube videos years ago, he would do a lot of stick tricks and stuff, and I would just watch and see what he was doing, and I just kind of took that and did it in my own way, to make it original. But Luke Holland, he's the drummer for the band Fallen in Reverse now. If you,
Oh, nice. Yeah,
yeah,
great man. Yeah.
yeah.
I'll try to send links out to that. That's really cool. Do you
Hmm.
use I'm sorry to keep nerding out about drums because that's what I
No,
do,
you're good. Ask me anything.
but do you use that like your drumsticks? Are they heavy or like what kind of drumsticks do you
I've
prefer?
I've used them for 10 plus years now. I'm a massive fan of the Vader 5B nylon tips.
I use
That's
the same thing. That's awesome. Yeah.
5B is my go-to. 5A's I always felt just too light for me. They don't
Mhm.
get that punch I need. And any other stick is either too heavy or too light. And 5B has just been always my go-to.
Same here, man.
Yep.
That's funny. Okay,
Yep.
and then last drum question. Do you prefer Sabian over Zildjian, or is there a certain brand
Ooh, that's
symbol?
a tough one. And there's different lines of both of those symbols that I actually really love. But if I had to pick my all-time favorite, it would definitely be those Zildjian. Anything they've put out, A Custom or Z3, I don't think anything tops that. Or those Master Sound hi hats, they sound absolutely fantastic mic'd up. So I got to go with Zildjian, but Sabian does put out some amazing products on their higher end of stuff.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. That's great. Great answer. All right,
Mhm.
man. So with Fozzy and Guardians, what's you're going to Louder in Life, right? But that's with Fozzy, right?
Correct.
When is this happening? This coming up
We
soon.
yeah, we play Louder Than Life Friday.
Okay, so this episode will be out after this show happens. So are you guys playing just a handful of songs? How much time did they give you?
Well, I'm super excited about it because Louder Than Life was actually the first rock festival I ever went to in my entire life, and in 2014. And now I'm going to get to play it. And not only am I going to get to play it, we're on the main stage. We're on the main stage
Oh
at
wow.
3:25, and I think the closer of the night we're playing is Slayer, and then on our stage, the headliner on our main stage is Evanescence. So it's going to be a fantastic show.
Yeah, but what's it like backstage at one of those? Like this is your second time, right? Going to Louder in Life. Is
Mhm.
that right? What's it like?
I've
What's
been
the
a
vibe?
couple of times, but this is the first time I've been, backstage with everything on the main stage
That must
area
be
for sure.
so cool seeing all the different bands.
It's fantastic, and it's really cool. I looked at the lineup. A lot of times, these festivals we play, you would be surprised. It's like a huge just hanging with friends because there's so many bands in the past that I've either done shows with or worked with, or same with Rich. You just make friendships over the years, and it's just like seeing your old friends that you haven't got to see in years.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of fun, and then you meet new people, and just it's a great
Network.
time, man.
Yeah, that's so cool. I love
Hmm.
that. And so is there any new Fozzy song? I know Spotlight came out in 2023, I believe. Is there more Fozzy songs gonna be slowly released that you can
I'm,
speak of?
I'm sure there's Rich and Chris, and they're always working on something new. I'm sure we'll have a new song out before you know it. But here recently, we've been really pushing. It's actually an older song off our latest release, that Army of One song. It's been doing really good at radio, so it's kind of got like starting to get out there more. So we're starting to push that one. It just come out randomly, and people are relating to it, and it's doing really good.
That's cool that came out randomly. I like that. That's kinda
Yeah,
old
yeah.
school?
Yeah, so it's kind of like a new song for a lot of people, even though it's on the album that's been out for a little bit now. But still, it's really neat to see for sure. It's
Okay,
it's a
so now
beautiful song for sure.
okay, I wanna definitely, I may add that to the intro. I was thinking I gotta add an intro somewhere to
Yeah.
the show. I should add that video, maybe a little clip or something,
Hmm.
or some kinda, yeah, that'd be cool. Guardians of the Jukebox, so what's next with you guys doing that project? Is that you got more shows lined up for
Oh, uh,
2025 or
we have literally, after Fozzy plays Louder Than Life, me and Rich, we head all the way back, and then we're playing a festival in Powder Springs, Georgia, Saturday with Guardians of the Jukebox. And then once the Fozzy uh, tour ends, we've got shows coming up left and right on the weekends. You can see all of our dates on the Guardians of the Jukebox website. And we've been really busy this year. This whole summer, we've played awesome festivals around, and got to go to England with Guardians, and playing some new markets we've never got to play before. So it's been going great, man. It's been fantastic.
how do you keep do you I think I've asked somebody else this question, but with 2 bands going on, do you have a literal calendar? Like, how do you figure out where you gotta be at all this? Like, what do you use to be there on time and
Um, we have literally group text.
okay, yeah.
That's how I know where I need to be. Like half the time, I won't even know where we're playing in the next. If somebody asks me where we're playing in like 2 or 3 weeks, I'll be like, you're gonna have to let me look."
Yeah,
But if
dude.
I know where I'm gonna supposed to be at this week from that group text, I'm good. You just tell
Yeah,
me where I need to
dude.
be this week.
Yeah, I was wondering if, you ever, wake up in the middle of the night, you're like, "Oh, I gotta be at this place at this time I forgot about?" Just seems so much
long as I,
stress.
long as I get the first that group text telling the schedule of this week and where we're supposed to be, I'm set. Anything
Yeah.
after that, I have no idea.
Do you still like, so now that you're comfortable with Fozzy and Guardians, do you still practice these songs when you get bored or when you have time? Do you still try to, like, warm up and play the same stuff? Or you
Yes,
know
I still like to keep my brain. So like even if, for instance, Fozzy does the tour, I might, if we've got a month or so off, I'll still occasionally play those songs. But when the tour comes up, whether I've played these songs 1,000 times by now or not, I'm still that whole month prior. I'm going ahead, getting ready, playing them because I like over prepare. That way,
Right, yeah,
there's
me too.
because I worry a lot, and I like to get there and not have no worries and just know that I have everything ready. You know.
Does Rich ever send you, like, guitar riffs and he's like, "Hey, what do you think about this?" And, like, you kinda, like, work off what he sends you or anything
Yeah, a
like
lot
that?
of times he'll send me ideas that he's doing with Guardians and Fozzy. He's like, "Hey, what do you think about this? Check this out. Do you like this?" And it's great, man. Rich is fantastic, man. He's the bit. He's one of the that whole Fozzy and Guardians, especially Rich, and they've treated me so well, man. I've never been in a band ever with as nice of people as the bands I'm in now. It's fantastic, man.
Yeah, dude. Well, that was well said, man. I love Rich too. When I interviewed him, the first time he came over, he brought a Stuck Mojo, like, backdrop, original one, and he's like, "I'm just gonna give this to you." I'm like,
That's Rich,
"Dude."
man.
Yeah, I'm like, "Holy crap, man."
He's the
Like,
best.
"Thank
And,
you."
and anytime anything, like I've played in bands before. If something goes wrong out of your control or you lose power, everybody's gonna start freaking out. Rich is the only person I've ever played with. Like if anything goes wrong, he's always got your back. He's gonna do everything he can to be like, oh, this ain't bad at all, and save you or do whatever it takes, man. He's a rock star for sure.
Yeah, man, that's like winning the lottery, man, and
Yeah,
now you get to be in 2 bands with him.
yeah. But I've learned a lot just in the time I've played with Rich. Just to make me a better musician and on and off the stage, being around him, it's great, man.
Yeah, that I love that, and, we're about to wrap this up, but, so I gotta mention Billy Gray, who I've had on the show. I love Billy Gray.
Oh, me too. Oh, Billy, we cut
Yeah,
up all
dude.
the time, man.
Yeah, I love Billy, and he posts all these videos of him playing guitar and, like, tutorials and all, all this stuff. I'm like, "Man, he's the man." He's played with so many musicians from Atlanta, by the way,
Oh,
which is
Billy
great.
is fantastic, man, and such a nice guy too. That's what I'm.
Oh, you
Everybody in Fozzy when I first got in the band till now, everyone's still just nicest guys you can meet. Billy, PJ, Chris, Rich, all of them, man. They're fantastic to play with.
that's gotta be great on the road too, because
Oh yeah.
and okay, so and the last thing, I've never met PJ, your bass player.
Hmm.
I wanna interview him, man, but he seems like, the comedian, like, he seems really funny and cool to be around.
Oh man, he's fantastic. You would really enjoy interviewing him. He's got stories for days, and he will definitely make you laugh.
Yeah,
PJ's
dude.
fantastic, man.
Yeah, you
He's
got a great
great.
group.
Oh
Great
yeah,
group.
he's got a great voice too, man. He does a lot of backups with Chris. He's got a fantastic voice.
I keep saying last thing, but Jericho, I have the funniest story. It's real short, but I interviewed him at a hotel one time about Fozzy, and it was at his hotel. His hotel. He is his hotel room, and
Right.
so I gave him a Fozzy plaque, and he goes, "Let's take a picture of it." So he does the reverse, and he takes a photo of me and him with this Fozzy plaque. And we look at the picture together, and the plaque is upside down, and I love Jericho, but Chris Jericho goes, "Somehow the camera made it upside down." So we're like, "How did that happen?" And then he looked at the plaque, and he goes, "Wait, it's upside down." And we flipped it upside then we flipped it right, then we took a normal picture. He's like, "Oh, there we go. Cool." But
That
I'll
sounds
never
like
forget him
Chris,
saying that.
man.
Yeah, he's like, "The camera made it upside down." We're like, "How did
Man,
that
he
happen?"
he stays having my ribs hurt on tour. He makes me
He's
laugh, man. He's so
hilarious, man.
he's so
Yeah.
funny.
Yeah, yeah, I love that story, but
It's
yeah, and
great.
being in a band with him too. Were you a wrestling fan growing up?
I was heavily in the early 2000s, like super hardcore, the raw days and everything, But over time, I just started focusing on music, and then it was kind of funny. I kind of got out of that, and then AEW started getting hype, and then I got back into it again. This was before I was in Fozzy as well, so I've always been a major fan of it, just
Yeah.
on and off throughout my whole life. So it
Yeah,
was
dude.
really neat. It's cool because sometimes I'll play these shows and I'll think, oh, I'm gonna meet a lot of musicians, but here I am looking over and I'm like, oh, this is this famous wrestler from so and so and so and so. So it's pretty cool, man. And they're all nice, all down to earth.
Yeah, I forgot to ask you about that. Yeah, the audience has gotta be split, right, with
Yeah,
wrestling
yeah,
fans and musicians.
yeah. You get the best of both worlds at it, man.
Yeah, I would love one of my favorite bands is Seven Dust, so I would love just to have Fozzy and Seven Dust together. So I'm just throwing that out there, so maybe that'll do a show
Hey,
together or something. That'd be amazing.
funny story. We're playing the same day as they are Friday.
Oh, you are? The same
Yep.
day?
Yep, they're on the stage beside us, and we're on
Oh,
this
wow.
stage right around the same time. So it's kind of like that.
Yeah, you're kinda like opening or there,
Yeah,
but yeah.
yeah.
Hey, that's awesome, man.
Hmm.
Well, Grant Brooks, man, this is fun, man. I wanna do, like, another episode with you sometime.
Yeah, man, I
Maybe
would love to. Thank you for
yeah.
having me, brother.
Yeah, this means a lot to me, man. I've wanted to have you on my show for a while and meeting you at Corn, this is cool, man. This is a good, like, first episode. I want many more to come, you know? We
Yeah,
can
for sure, man. I'll be more than happy to, and I hope to see you at a Guardians or a Fozzy show soon.
speaking of, yes, so I've had Rich on my show right here, and then I had Brian Welch on the show. I don't know if you can see it. Yeah,
I
there you
watched
go.
that episode, man. That episode was fantastic. I love
Dude,
that.
that means the world. I gotta get Rich to sign this stupid skate deck because 'cause I'm like, "You're the only one, man."
Gotta come to the show. He'll be more than happy to, man.
Yeah, dude, yeah, but
Come hang with us.
I will hang with man. I love that, man, and I appreciate that, but then this is awesome, man. Grant Brooks, thank you for being on the show, man. This means the world to me, man. You're a cool
Appreciate you,
guy.
man. Thank you for having me, brother.
You too, man. Take care, brother.
You too, buddy.